Hey friends, this is Jason, and I want to let you look at a little video here of Will Rogers. Will Rogers was an airplane pilot back in the 1920s and 30s in Oklahoma. He lived in Oklahoma City. Those those are my friends that are from Oklahoma will be able to relate to this. But anyway, he was a very much like a political figure. However, he was never in politics, but he believed in making statements and giving speeches, and he was very good at it. And a lot of people at that time wished that he could have run for office and run for Congress or anything, because he was a very good spokesperson and very knowledgeable on life, I would think, from what I've heard. This is a radio show from 1931. Oh, I messed it up. And I'm going to let you listen to it. I'm going to play this video and
we're reading the papers every day, and they get us all excited over the one or a dozen different problems that's supposed to be before this country. There's not really but one problem before the whole country at this time. It's not the balancing of Mr. Mellon's budget. That's his worry. That ain't ours. And it's not the League of Nations that we read so much about. Or it's not the silver question. The only problem that confronts this country today is that at least 7 million people are out of work. That's our only problem. There is no other one before us at all.
Oh, I'm going to pause it right there. The way he was talking about in 1931 is there was a lot of distraction from Prohibition to whatever else was going on, the Dust Bowl. But he said the main thing was that people needed to be able to get jobs. And he claimed that our government at that time wasn't focusing so much on jobs. It was focusing on the fact that the people were getting drunk, and they needed to not be getting drunk. And that's what started Prohibition. But what Mr. Will Rogers was speaking of is a lot of times our Congress doesn't quite relate to what's currently going on. And they try to direct our attention otherwise. Maybe they do relate a little bit to what's going on, but it seems like they try to distract us today in 2014. Now, this was in 1931. I wonder if that can kind of play into what's going on today. Let me let
Work, allowed to find a place to go to work, and also to arrange some way of getting a more equal distribution of the wealth in country. Now, it's Prohibition. We hear a lot about that. That's nothing to compare to your neighbor's children that are hungry. It's food. It ain't drink that we're worried about today. Here a few years ago, we were so afraid that the poor people would liable to take a drink that now we've fixed so they can't even get something to eat. So here we are in a country with more wheat and more corn, and more money in the bank, and more cotton, more everything in the world. There's not a product that you can name that we haven't got more of it than any country ever had in the face of the earth. And yet we...
And that's true today. We're very profitable in our goods. So let's finish listening to this.
We've got people starving. They will hold the distinction of being the only nation in the history of the world that ever went to the poorhouse in an automobile. The potter's field are lined with granaries full of grain. Now, if there ain't something cockeyed in an arrangement like that, then this microphone here in front of me is, well, it's a cuspidor, that's all. Now, I think that perhaps they'll arrange it. I think our big men will perhaps fix some way of fixing a different distribution of things. If they don't, they're certainly not big men and won't be with us long. That's one thing.
All right. We believe that's the end of that video. But anyway, he's talking about the distribution of wealth. We hear that a lot today. But anyway, I wanted you to hear that video. I keep saying anyway. And see what you think. I play an uninterrupted full-length version of this video below here. So you can go to that without me talking in it. Okay. Thanks for watching.